everybody, and welcome back to the Broad Street Boys. Caleb, here we are. Phillies season has officially begun. Kind of a slow start in the beginning, but they're starting to pick it up now. We're going to talk about Phillies and Sixers today. Phillies specifically. We're going to try to stay positive in this episode because we could just talk about the negatives, but we're going to try not to. We're going to try to talk about the pitching and how it's been better after the Braves series. We're going to try to talk about key players that have been really good, surprising good players, while at the same time expected good players that have played well. We'll probably hit on some guys in the minors who could be coming up soon, or any of that. And then we're also going to talk about the Sixers with Joel Embiid coming back. We haven't done one since he's been back, so we could break that down. / where we think they're going to land in the play-in tournament, and if making the play-in tournament would kind of be better than making the sixth seed. So we'll be breaking all that down today. But we're going to start with the Phillies. Caleb, let me hear your thoughts on just everything so far. Let me hear.
I like the start. Like for the Phillies, we're typically looking first month and a half. We're flirting with the 500.
Right.
Like the last 2 years, we were 5-6 games below 500 heading into end of May, beginning of June. Yeah. Like we typically don't get over the 500 hump till June, July.
Mm-hmm.
We are a week and a half into the baseball season, one game over 500, and the strength of our schedule, we should finish, I think, five or 6 games over 500. But I was looking at it last night. Like, there are a lot of teams that are just like having slow starts. Like, we're only 1 game behind the Braves.
Right.
Aside from the Yankees and the Dodgers, like everyone else is kind of either a game or 2 above 500 or 2 or 3 below.
Yeah, I'm with you.
Yeah, but
look at the Astros.
Yeah, and I like how we're starting right now, because typically it's the offense that starts off pretty well, and the pitching that it takes a little while, because when we really get going is when the pitching gets going. And the pitching has been on. I think we have team overall of 2.38. Don't quote me on that, but we have a really good team ERA from the starters and the bullpen. I don't know, the bullpen had a really slow start against Atlanta, especially.
Right.
But they've gotten it back together. Alvarado's been on, Strom's been on, Gregory Soto, Junior Marte, guys that I thought were going to struggle a little bit this year or not be used as much, have not allowed a run yet, which is hella impressive. If you look at Soto's ERA last year, Junior Marte got sent down to the minors a month in. He was a guy that I thought was going to come in last year and just be filthy because there's a ton of movement on his pitch, but he had no control.
Yep.
And he, we were talking about off camera, Marte found that control, and he has been lights out. He 1 inning yesterday, 25 pitches, 15 of them were for strikes, but he got 3 strikeouts.
I am completely on your side. I remember myself being don't be surprised when Gregory Soto goes off, because a second year under Caleb Compton obviously is a real thing. So with Alvarado came to us as not good, and but at the same time you could see the potential in the velocity. And then second year, all of a sudden he's one of the best bullpen arms in the game, and now he's even better. Gregory Soto could very well be on the same trajectory. Soto, everyone keeps talking about him like he's 29, 30. He's 25 or 26. This guy is young. And he has very similar Alvarado problems. Not even problems, but they're very similar pitchers. Left side, huge fastball, huge sinker, slider. They have similar stuff.
Yeah. I think the impressive thing with Soto is that he only has 2 pitches, really. The sinker, and then the slider.
Yeah.
And if you're a hitter, it is 50-50, but even if you guess right, there's so much movement.
Oh my gosh.
He throws it so fast. And I think part of the reason why he's having a better start this year is that he's working more on control. Because I watched him over spring training. He was one of the guys I was keeping an eye on, because I wanted him to do well this year.
Right.
His velocity was down, but he was locating pitches. So even though he was getting hit off of all the time in spring training, he was locating pitches, and then he comes out of the bullpen first time. He might have given up a run. It's the Braves.
It's the Braves.
they're like that, but he was hitting his spots with the same velocity that he had last year.
Exactly. And Gregory Soto is one of those guys where every time he's going to have that velocity and he's going to have that movement. It's all about if he can locate. And obviously he's starting to locate and he's starting to tear hitters up, and it's about time. And I love your past Junior Marte take, because very similar type, obviously a different, very different pitcher than Soto, but similar problem. Like Marte last year just couldn't hit the strike zone, and when he did, it was a sinker or a changeup right down the middle, and then they would light him up. Now there's so much more. I don't know, maybe I'm wrong, but I feel like there's so much more movement on that changeup this year. Like it's or maybe he changed his grip to more of like it almost looks more like a splitter. I don't know, because there's more downward movement and more tumbling, and it's very interesting to watch as someone who I think pitching is like art almost of sorts. Like obviously not everybody can do it, but it like people can do it, but like if you can do it well, then you're getting paid hundreds of millions of dollars. And to have that much movement is crazy. And Soto has the same thing. That slider that Soto has, if you're a lefty and he just keeps throwing that slider 83, 84, and then all of a sudden he busts that 98, 99 sinker up and in, and it catches the corner, I'd be like, okay, great.
Our the three bullpen arms, I think, have taken a huge jump compared to last year are like Soto, Marte, and Strom. Like Strom's slider last year, I remember it was either down and away or like down and in for righties.
Yeah.
Or it was down the middle. Like I remember when we played the Padres, I think it was end of July, like Machado clobbered one. Slider right down the middle.
Yeah.
Strom, from what I've seen this year, the slider, it's inside. It's running in on righties.
Which is good.
It's not sitting down the middle anymore, which is like we needed that. Like he got the extension. I think his first two appearances, like they weren't great.
Right.
I think he gave up a run or two in both of them. But like he's got it together quick.
No, literally, and he's one of those guys that's a really good clubhouse type of guy, like super outgoing, and when he's on, like it really helps the whole bullpen as a whole.
Yep.
And he's
an inning eater.
He eats innings, and obviously we saw it last year, but like imagine you're like short a starter, like you can just throw him out there for 3 innings and he'll be okay, like he'll be fine. Speaking of starters, Spencer Turnbull, Caleb, what the hell is this guy into? This guy is all of a sudden two outings, 6 innings each, no runs,
zero runs. I think maybe 5 hits.
Right?
Like dude was lights out.
He was, and he looks
his changeup,
his sweeper.
It's filthy. It's filthy.
Oh my God, his sweeper is so good too, because like Spencer Turnbull for us kind of come out of nowhere. Like we've talked about him, but like with the what 2.8 million a year that he's getting, or whatever it is.
When we saw that signing, we thought it was going to be like a minor league project, like keep him down there for depth. Yeah. With Taijuan Walker's injury, though, like he's the 5th starter right now.
Yeah, and
he has been killing it. All of our pitchers have been killing it. Like even though like Nola and Wheeler, like they've been giving up runs.
Right.
It's like everyone is doing their thing. Like even Christopher Sanchez.
Yeah, he doesn't look bad.
No.
And Sanchez is a guy who in spring training, like he was sick all spring training. Like this is just like a continuation into spring training for him. And he starts tonight against the Pirates. So hopefully
I'm curious to see how he does tonight, because like the Pirates, like they have some guys second rate.
I feel the same way.
And like his strikeout rate has gone up like a ton. Like what his pitch is the changeup. That's his put away pitch, right?
Yes, changeup. Yeah.
Dude, it was so nice. The last game he pitched, dude, I think he had like 7 or 8 strikeouts.
He did. He let up a few runs. He got touched up a little bit against the Nats, but like, and he didn't really hit his spots. But like the main thing that I'm looking for in these early months, like wins are cool. Like wins make me feel good, right? But it's more like the improvement of these players, and the Chris Sanchez improvement I think has looked great. Like obviously he's still coming off of the flu that hit everyone in spring training. So he's kind of getting the strength back, and I feel like all of his pitches are moving more. Like that changeup's tumbling more. The sinker he has, he's dotting the sinker and the fastball right now, which is very, very good for us, because we expect him to be that 4th guy. Like because that obviously the 5th could really be Walker or Turnbull, but we expect Chris Sanchez to be a good solid 4, like with an ERA within the 3s ish. and he's done that so far. And I feel like
Mhm.
right now Chris Sanchez is a guy that can only go up. I only see him going up from here.
He's shown a lot of signs that
Yeah,
he's going to be in the rotation for a while.
and I hope he is. I actually like Chris Sanchez as a guy. Like he seems like a cool guy. I don't know. Um, another starter that we could talk about is Ranger Suarez. My Cy Young
Your
super
Cy Young pick,
dark
dude,
horse pick.
has been lights out.
God,
Goes onto the mound, struts his stuff, dude. Like
oh man,
he's so cool.
yeah, he's
He's
awesome.
so calm, nonchalant out there.
He's so fun to
Like
watch
even
too.
like against any team.
Yep,
Like he gave up the home run to Joey Gallo,
that's it though.
and then the next at bat against him, like he threw that same pitch over and over. Like because he wanted to get that spot down.
Right. And so I was lucky enough to be at that game against the Nats, the last Ranger Suarez outing, and of what I saw in person through those 6 innings, yes, he pretty much missed on one pitch, and that was the Joey Gallo home run, and the ump was not good that game. I remember, but the movement on his pitches are fantastic. I feel like his
Mhm.
changeup and his curveball have been his go-to pitches this year, and they have been looking so crisp and so tight compared to last year. That like the reason why he kind of struggled for the first 5 6 months is because he could locate that changeup. So then he just took the changeup out of his repertoire and he just threw hard stuff in the curveball. And
Mhm.
as a hitter, when you take out like the best pitch, like when the pitcher takes out the best pitch, you're like, oh, okay, let me just sit on something hard then. And then that's what he would did, and that's what they did, and he got touched up. But now because he has that changeup, which worked in the playoffs, right? I mean, and now it's working in the regular season. And Ranger is not usually healthy in the regular season, so just to see him pitch right now is awesome.
Mhm.
So it's really encouraging to see this. And obviously, I was somewhat joking about the Cy Young thing, but he
It's looking good now.
looks great.
The only thing he doesn't have is the spotlight.
And I don't think he will have the spotlight because everyone's
He's not going to have the spotlight.
and because you take a step back and look at all the national media, and they're all talking Nola Wheeler best 1-2 in the league. It's really Suarez Wheeler. I'm not gonna lie to you, or I feel like Suarez is just not in the light as much. I don't know. And I'm not gonna lie, Aaron Nola has not pitched bad, and I'm one of the bigger Aaron Nola haters. He hasn't pitched awful. Like he had a rough outing.
He had one bad start against the Braves.
But it's against the Braves, and coming off of spring training, it's hard for any starting pitcher to be good.
Yeah.
And I was honestly okay with that, and he looked really crisp against the Cardinals, right? He pitched against
Yep.
Cardinals. So I thought he looked really good then, and he just pitched recently, and I feel like he looked solid. I do feel bad for Wheeler because I feel like Wheeler recently has gotten no.
He's got no run
So
production.
yes, he has
Out of
2 losses,
his
but
offense.
I think he's got like a 3 ERA right now, and it's not really his fault. So
No.
like Wheeler, like I will say this until the day I die. Wins losses for a pitcher they just aren't a stat for me. Like it just makes no sense because that's really relying on your offense, not really projected on your pitcher. Because I mean,
Mm-hmm.
if you think about it, like imagine I'm a pitcher out there, I'm pitching great, but I'm getting no run support, right? And then the 6th inning comes around. Same thing happened with Wheeler. I would feel like, oh man, I got to be perfect. Then as soon as I'm not perfect, I get in my head and I start leaving meatballs right down the middle, and that's exactly what happened to Wheeler. In both starts now, right? I mean, that's really just what's happened. I mean, in opening day, I mean, we saw he no hits, right, through 6 innings, and he was pulled, right? And like, I don't know, like I thought there's really not one pitcher right now that is like concerning, you know?
Yeah.
Um,
Well, that guy Taiwan Walker is
yeah,
in the minor leagues right now, and I think that's what we should talk about next.
yes, go ahead.
Walker versus Turnbull debate.
Mhm.
Turnbull is he the number 4? Or is that no? Yeah, Sanchez is number 4. Turnbull's number 5.
That's what I would say too.
But like, look at what a lot of successful playoff teams do.
Yep.
Like, what have the Dodgers been doing with their rotation the past couple of years? They have anywhere from like 4 to 6 guys that they can throw out on the mound and have them go 5 or 6 innings.
Right.
I know Walker, like he's struggling and he's on the decline big time. Right. But why not have a 6-man roster rotation?
Yeah, no, I'm with you. Like, why not? And plus, having a six-man rotation gives that extra day of rest, which is nice, right?
I know, and with all the pitchers having
Exactly.
injuries, like I think it would benefit everyone.
No, and I agree. Like, the more rest for a pitcher, especially a starting pitcher, the more innings that you can eat. Like I bet if they have that six-man rotation by what, July-ish or June-ish, um,
Mm-hmm.
I bet Wheeler will go like 7 or 8 regardless, right? And then
Mm-hmm.
maybe not Nola, but Nola can go 7 or 8. Screw it, why not?
Yeah,
And there's more innings to eat, and then and then at the same time that kind of saves your bullpen to only pitch what, 3 to 4 innings
yeah,
then,
two or three
right? Like, that's
innings,
not bad.
hopefully.
I'll take that any day of the week. But I personally, I think right now I would like Turnbull, just because he's looked so good. And so, for anyone that's not super familiar with Spencer Turnbull, he came in the league as a pretty high draft prospect, who pumped like 80, or sorry, who pumped 97 to 98 on his fastball, who pitched a no hitter for the Pirates in the 2021 season, with crazy move and all on all of his pitches, was doing crazy, like so good for the Tigers. Then he got Tommy John
Cy Young
surgery, right?
finalist.
And Tommy John surgery then made him not great for the next few years. Velocity is down to 94, 95. So then it's genius. But what Caleb Conklin was like, okay, you're not the pitcher that you once were, and that's okay. Like, let's just deal with that, and then let's just give you a new pitch. And now he has this sweeper that is so good. And a sweeper to me isn't quite a slider, but there's a little more downward movement, and like, that pitch is opening up everything for him. And because the sweeper isn't that fast, that 94, 95 looks so much faster. Um, and it's just so it's actually a pretty cool arc for Spencer Turnbull, because he was really good, like, right, like he was awesome at a time.
Yep.
And as soon as Tommy John hit, like, I could tell he was still trying to rely on that fastball, but when it's not 90, 97, 98, and it's more like 94, 95 to a pitcher, that's a huge difference.
Yep.
So I think it's very cool that how he kind of, he's not reimagined, but he kind of like reworked how he pitched, which is pretty cool. And the whole thing with Taiwan is very weird to me.
Like his velocity is not
Yeah,
there. The movement on his pitches, it's not quite there
yeah,
yet. Like I think he still has 2 more starts to make down there in his rehab
right.
assignment. But I'm leaning towards
Me too.
Turnbull. I mean, like I'm all for the 6-man rotation,
Right.
but at the same time, try to trade Walker. See if anyone will take him.
Yeah.
The
Take anything.
the contract's gonna be the turnoff, but
Why don't I?
see if you'll get any
Yeah.
offers. Like I'm not expecting any big names or like anything
No.
great out of that trade. Just see what there
No, I'm with
is.
you. And like, especially if he's gonna be a guy that you're paying way more than Spencer Turnbull, and yet he's just gonna rot in
Mm-hmm.
your minors. Like, as much as I do like Taiwan as a person, right? Like, he's great for the community, but like, what does he have to offer? And
Mm-hmm.
especially if Turnbull continues to be good. And I have a weird feeling that they're going to keep Walker, because of the injury concern with Turnbull.
Yep.
Because I mean, after Tommy John, you're not going to be the same. Like, that's just how it is, right? You can see with every single pitcher. So I could
Yep.
totally see us keeping him for that reason. But yeah, it's just that whole situation is very fascinating to me, because we didn't really, like you said, actually, we didn't think Turnbull was going to even touch the majors until like June. And now that he's
Mm-hmm.
the 5th starter on the opening week, it's kind of cool.
And what I think is going to happen is Suarez will be the number
Yeah.
3, Walker will be the 4, Sanchez 5, and I'm really hoping Turnbull's
Yeah.
6 because I don't want him going to the bullpen.
I don't either.
Like with our bullpen right now, like we got Kirkland coming back
Yeah.
up probably at the same time as Walker. We have a lot of flamethrowers in there. I don't want like Turnbull. He's good for starting, but I don't want a guy who tops out at 95 in the bullpen unless his location is on and he's hitting every single spot
Right.
that day. Like I don't want him out there. Like I like him as a starter. I don't want him in the bullpen.
I'm with you. And he's not really bullpen, like, kind of what you said. Like, he's not really bullpen guy to me. Like he like
No.
I feel like a bullpen guy is a guy that like Strom, right, or like Alvarado, who are on two different sides of the spectrum. Strom more of like a slider fastball type of guy, fastball being like 94-ish, right? While Alvarado is a slowest pitch is your cutter at 94, fastest pitch is
Mm-hmm.
your sinker at 99, and then Turnbull with the 95 he tops out at, but then has like 5 pitches. Like it's just not right. Like it's just not bullpen material to me. And there's nothing wrong with that. Like having a sixth starter, like we've been saying, is like I think it opens up so many possibilities.
And like the last guy, Michael Lorenzen, who like he
Yes.
started out in the rotation for us. We moved into the bullpen. He never got any action in the
No.
bullpen.
And I could see them. I mean, I don't want them to do this, but I could see them doing that in like the playoffs with Turnbull, which is fine. But or with Walker, like they could do it with either one. But whatever. But very encouraging of what I'm seeing from most of the pitchers, to be honest with you. Now, do you want to let's transition to the hitting aspect. Right now, Brandon Marsh is our best hitter.
Brandon Marsh, he's not only our best hitter, but one of the best hitters in the league.
He's crushing the ball.
Like he is up there for RBIs. He's up there for home runs, even average. Like he's a stud, and he's making plays on defense too.
He just looks great all around. Like I mean, I wasn't concerned, but it was definitely a thing in the back of my head, like, oh, will the surgery that he had during spring training affect anything? And obviously not. Like he is. Wait, is he hitting like 400 or something? Like he's hitting 400.
Marsh, he's hitting 333.
That's what I thought.
But he's a top 20 hitter now.
Marsh is another guy that is really good for the clubhouse, and you need a guy like Marsh on your team that's like not a spotlight guy in the slightest, but is just a solid hitter and a solid player all around. And he honestly, as a Phillies fan, he's super fun to watch. And he's kind of picking up, like Bryson Stott's not hitting as well as he hit or started last year, so he's kind of picking up that slack too, which is a good thing. And Stott hit a home run last night, so he's starting to come back.
Yeah, Stott. I'm hoping that home run helped him because like he was starting to come around. Like he struggled offensively and defensively the first two series. But like, yeah, I think he talked about it in an interview after last night's game. Like he was working on a lot of stuff in spring training, even like a little bit in the beginning of the first couple of games, and he thinks he's got it all figured out.
He does too. I believe in Bryson Stott too. Like he's our second baseman for the future, and I don't want anyone else.
He's going to be here for a while.
And can I just say something real quick? I did post a TikTok, right? A few days ago, it was like, the Phillies daycare, whatever. Last night, all three of them go yard. I feel like I manifested that. That's all I'm gonna say. I feel like I manifested it.
Dude, like the daycare, they're
picking up some slack because the guys that are being paid hundreds of millions of dollars are not really doing well.
They're not doing their job right now.
And the young guys,
they're starting to come around, but dude, the young guys,
love the young guys, and they're so fun to watch. Even Bohm, on the anniversary of him saying that he effing hates this place, like makes that sliding catch to end the game and hits a home run in the game. It was like poetic. Like it's so cool.
That was the Alec Bohm.
It really was, because he even looked good on defense too that game. Like
he looked really, dude. On Twitter, I'm seeing highlights of Bohm on defense. Which is crazy because everyone's always been hating on him because he's got bad defense. But I think like his defense is like better than his offense so far. But again, like he's one of the guys that he's got power, but he's more of a just put the ball in play kind of guy.
He's more like a singles doubles guy, which is a guy that you need in that 5 spot, right? Like you need that.
But I still think that he could easily hit 25 plus home runs this year.
Easily. He's big enough to hit as many as he wants. But I agree, like it is pretty, like if you told me, Caleb, 2 or 3 years ago that Alec Bohm would be getting defensive highlights on Twitter, I think I would have laughed at you.
Yep.
And
yeah, he had a nice barehanded play the other day.
He's had a bunch of nice barehanded plays recently, and he's looked really solid over there. And he's really fun to watch. And the Phillies are just Phillying, like very, like, you know what I mean. Like they beginning of
Yep.
the year, I feel like we just forget how to play baseball, or at least some of our guys. Like the base running
But
is so bad,
it's
but
it's it's not as
it
bad
is.
this year as it's
I
been in
agree.
the past.
I think for me, it's just frustrating seeing the same thing happen now for the past 3 years. Like they look on the bases, they look incredibly unprepared. Do you notice that?
Yep.
Like they're like
Yeah.
I watched, I would say, a majority of the games, like try to watch every pitch type of thing while I'm doing homework or whatever. And I feel like I see a base running error every single game, at least once. Like
Mm-hmm.
I think the worst one was when someone got caught in a rundown, right, at second base.
Castellanos
Yeah,
kind of run.
and then
Yeah. No, it was Bryson
yes,
JT.
and then
That one was
it was so
terrible.
bad. Like I don't know. And then there was one with Castellanos where someone got in a rundown on second, between second and first, and they're in the rundown, and then Castellanos just breaks for home, and then is so dead,
Mm-hmm.
and then he's out obviously, and then I'm like, what? Well, there goes the rally. Like I don't know. But I think I just get frustrated with that because I just see it every single year, and I think
Mm-hmm.
like the funny thing is it's gonna be like this until the end of May, and then as soon as June hits, Kyle Schwarber is apparently like Barry Bonds and hits like 15 home runs in 30 days. So like it's so weird because it really does just happen until June, and then June turns us on, and I'm in, right?
Dude, I don't know. Brandon Marsh turns into Barry Bonds when Thompson decides to start him.
Yeah. Why isn't he an everyday player? Like I don't get. I mean, he is starting to be now.
Yeah, he's starting to be an everyday
Yeah.
player now. I just hope Thompson learned like the only way Marsh is going to get better against left-handed pitching is by facing left-handed pitching and just like being a little uncomfortable with it and growing to be
Like
comfortable.
isn't like I feel like that's not a tough concept for Rob Thompson to understand. Like that's not just a
Mm-hmm.
baseball thing. Like I'm not gonna be good at accounting if I just do accounting once and then I don't do accounting ever again. I have to do it.
Yep.
You know what I mean? Like I have to do
Yep.
it. Or like just say like on like a random like exam in school. Like if I go into that exam and I study an hour, I'm not gonna do well. But if I study like 10 hours, I'm obviously gonna do much better than the 1 hour. Like I feel like it's not a hard
Mm-hmm.
concept for Rob Thompson to understand. And I get it. Like the analytics thing, I get it. And you want to put Pache out there, I get it. Like whatever. Um
Yeah, my question with the lineup in past couple games is like Rojas went 3 for 4.
yeah, he looked good in one game.
Yeah, and he had a bunch of blunders in the first game against the
Mm-hmm.
Cardinals, and then like second game, I watched a little bit of it. He looked like a
I
completely
know.
different player, more disciplined at the
Something
plate,
clicked.
more relaxed. I honestly think something
Yeah.
clicked with him, and he's on the bench, but I thought he was gonna like start today because I was excited to see if he really made adjustments or like let's just say he got lucky that one
Yeah.
game he went off. But it looked to me like he within the span of a night watched maybe his at bats,
Yeah.
previous ones, seeing how like pitches they're throwing to him, like they're throwing outside or like he's just
Mm-hmm.
chasing a lot, and he shortened up his swing too.
That's what he has to do.
Like the double that he hit, yeah. Like all you see was like just keep your
Yeah.
hands inside, use your hips, and then because you're not a power guy. There's no reason
Thank
for you
you.
to go out there with that Joey Gallo full extension type swing. Just keep your hands
It's
short
not.
to the
I feel like
ball.
that's not a hard concept to. I mean, I'm obviously saying this while sitting my ass in a chair and not doing it, but like I feel like that's not a hard concept to think. Just play pepper with the freaking ball, right? Like that's all you got to do.
Mm-hmm.
And not to shit on Rob Thompson, but Rob Thompson has this thing where like this happened with Brandon Marsh before too, but like a player will go off, like Rojas going 3 for 4, right? Or Marsh going 2 for 4, or whoever going, or Bryson Stott the one time went like 3 for 5, and then he sits them the next game or two. Why? This is not the first time you're doing this, right? Like what? Like don't you want to create momentum, right? Like
Mm-hmm.
do you agree? Like this is not the first time I've seen this.
No, it's not the first time, but Thompson also has like
He
scheduled
does.
rest days for these guys, and like it looks like a bad look for
Yeah.
them, but it's really like these guys just go
Right.
off like a day or two before they have
Right.
their rest day.
Maybe
But it is annoying watching.
Maybe Rob Thompson's just super unlucky, and then he's like, "Oh man, Rojas really suck, and I'll give him a day off on Friday." And then on Thursday he goes 3 for 4, and you're like, "Well, he's already getting a day off, so here we go."
Yep.
Yeah, but Rojas needs to, like you said, just shorten up, dude. You're one of the fastest guys I've ever seen play baseball. You know what I mean? Like you are so fast. All you gotta do is just get on base, and then you're automatically at second, right? Because if Rojas hits like a solid 250, he's stealing at least 30 bags, right? At least.
I mean, he's gonna be up there for stolen bases by the end of the season.
He just has to stay. He has to get on base first, and I feel like he doesn't.
Yep.
He's not that disciplined at the plate either. I feel like he's always swinging at balls at his eyeballs, and I feel like he's always swinging at balls in the dirt. Other than the 3 for 4 game, he was so disciplined, and he was just playing pepper with the pitcher. He was just throwing the bat out there and just hoping it hits, and that's a good thing sometimes. Sometimes it works out, and I felt like he was just finding holes. Like the one double or single, he just busted through the right sides between the second baseman and pitcher. No, sorry, second baseman, first baseman. But it was literally just a right, like, and it worked, and that drove in a run. And like I feel like he swings so hard. He swings like Castellanos. He swings so hard, and like for Castellanos, like go ahead, be a boomer bust guy, have fun. But because you can do it. I mean, obviously, I'm not going to talk too negatively, but he has not looked good yet. But Rojas, like you're not as big as Nick Castellanos, bro.
We've got with Rojas, we have the expectation that he's going to be more of a contact, get on, steal a base kind of guy, and not the go out there and swing and everything. But I mean, part of why I think he has some Castellanos tendencies is because Nick was the guy that basically took him under his wing last year and gave him some pointers. So like it does make sense.
It's just annoying as a fan to see a guy that is not as big or as strong as Nick Castellanos swing like Nick Castellanos. That's like if Whit Merrifield swung like with Nick Castellanos. Like that just doesn't make any sense. And speaking of him, I actually don't hate the addition of him. He's kind of cold so far.
He's a great guy.
I think he's a great guy from the right side. Him and Sosa, I think, are a great little plugins. Like if people just need rest.
Yeah.
And Merrifield, I mean, he won't hit a lot of home runs, but he'll just poke the ball a little bit. Like why not, right? If anything, I want Merrifield to help Rojas hit because they're, I mean, not obviously not the same player, but they have very similar swings and very similar builds. And I feel like if Merrifield could help Rojas with the contact, like, right, it'd help a little bit.
Can Shane Victorino come back and for a day just talk with Rojas,
please?
Because those two could be very similar, where they're more speed, defense, contact.
And
I think Rojas, unless he's trying to turn himself into our version of Acuna, which would be dope.
But Acuna is like a once in a lifetime.
He's got to start small before he tries to go big.
As much as I hate the Braves, Ronald Acuna is truly special. So if he's trying to model his game after him, I get it, but I don't know. It's just not there yet. But at the same time, it is April 12th, so we have plenty of time. That's why we're not trying to hit on all the negatives, because we're trying not to overreact too much, right?
We're a week and a half in.
Right.
It's still early.
We could even miss the playoffs if we really wanted to. Like anything could happen. And the Astros have 4 wins, so anything. So all good things. All right. Do you want to transition to the Sixers? Let's do it. All right, Joel.
Let's do it.
Oh my God.
Embiid's back.
My Lord and Savior, Joel Embiid. I watched that game against the Thunder, Embiid's first game back, as most Philadelphia sports fans did. Embiid's playing style has not changed. That guy still rolls around on the ground, and it stresses me out. What do you think? It stresses me out. I don't know if you saw highlights, Caleb, but oh my God, within the first 10 minutes of him in, there was a few oh my God, he just rolled around on the ground moments. I'm like, and every time
I watched the game where they against the Spurs, and he falls a lot. What it makes me really nervous, because he has knee issues. He tore his meniscus. and is basically playing
Yeah,
like he's 100%, which
he's not.
he is not yet. He's still
Yeah.
getting limited playing time. And like if we're gonna do anything in the playoffs this year, like he's got to be 100% and staying off
Yep.
the floor.
However, Caleb, I do love me some Joel Embiid because that, like, as anyone could say all they want about Joel Embiid, right? Like they can call him soft, they can call him all these things, but when he's on that court, he's putting his life on the line. Which, as a fan, like
Mm-hmm.
that's like inspiring. I love watching him play basketball, and I feel like he puts up such an easy 30 points. I don't know how much you watch, Caleb, but he puts up such an easy 30 points to the point where I'm
He
like,
didn't
oh
even
my god, is it that easy?
he didn't even play the full game. He finished with what, like
There's a
32,
stat I
33
saw today. He
points.
has more points than minutes. Think about that for a second. What? I've never heard anyone do that ever. And he is the
He's the
system, and the
system.
system works. So
And that's also why I love the move
yeah,
for Buddy Hield, because like you got guys that can just feed Embiid and
yep,
Maxey, and all they have to do is just get them the ball, sit back,
yeah,
maybe like get a rebound, but
dude,
just watch them do
and
their thing.
Embiid and Maxey, honestly, like the one game I think it was against Spurs. It was the 2 overtime game when Embiid didn't play and Maxey played, put up 52 points. Like Maxey, yes, he does need Joel Embiid, but like those two in the game complement each other so much better than how Embiid and Harden complement each other, right? Because Tyrese
Mm-hmm.
Maxey, I think, would be very okay with Joel Embiid being like, okay, give me like 3 possessions, let me go score, and Max would be like, all right, I'll just move, I'll just play decoy. James Harden could never play decoy. Let's just make that clear right now. James
No,
Harden,
it
it
had to
had to
be
be
him
James
getting the
Harden getting the
ball.
ball at the spry age of 32 or something. The fact that James Harden needs the ball, it just didn't work with Joel Embiid, and the fact that Maxey doesn't really need the ball, and that they can still win, and Maxey will score like 22, and Embiid will have 30, like that is huge. Um, and the Spurs game, right? It makes me very encouraged for these playoffs because like if Embiid has an off game, right? So which will happen because it's the playoffs, and Embiid's a good playoff performer, but we haven't seen him just with Maxey, so we'll have to wait. But if Embiid is off, then that gives Maxey, like Maxey can do it by himself, like, and then they use Joel Embiid as a decoy. Maxey scoring up, putting up 52 with no decoy, right? With no
By
decoy.
himself.
So imagine Maxey's doing it against their second best defender. Like, oh my gosh, like that would be ridiculous. And let's just talk about this right now. I would love if we got that 6th spot or that 7th spot. Like even if we don't make that 6th spot, right, and we get that 7th spot, we play the Bucks, and the Bucks have Doc Rivers, which would give us a little more emphasis to play. You know,
Yeah, like I hope that would
and
motivate
I know it
guys
will.
like Embiid, but at the same time, like Giannis,
Yes, and
is
Giannis is
scared.
kind of banged up.
He's
He
scared.
not strained, but he tweaked something in his leg the other day. That, and I don't know, Doc, as much as I did like Doc here, and I mean it wasn't a lot of like, but he was okay. Um, like he's not that great of a playoff coach, and we've seen it, and he chokes. And Nick Nurse is such a better coach than Doc, and Nick Nurse genuinely knows how to get Embiid and Maxey involved together. I think that's such a big deal for the both of them. Like that's so encouraging for me to even see. Um, yeah, I I would not be against a Bucks Sixers series. That'd be so entertaining. And in the past, Embiid has crushed Giannis. Like we've played them on like Christmas Day games and stuff. Embiid's been up like 34 and Giannis is like 18. Like I've seen this story before. And and imagine we squeak into that 6th spot and we play the Cavs or the Knicks. Hopefully it's the Cavs. But we're still on the side of the bracket where it's against, like, not with the Celtics. And we, knock on wood, own the Cavs recently. Like even without Embiid, we were still beating them, right? And the Cavs are good. It's just I trust Joel Embiid more than I trust Donovan Mitchell, and that's just what it's going to come down to. Now, doomsday scenario, we make the play-in fine. We lose against the Heat, and then we beat the Hawks or the Bulls, right? And we play the Celtics in the first round. Oh my PTSD. Because that would be such a hard series for me to watch because that will be during my finals, and I have to watch that and sweat every single night. Because Caleb, you know me, Celtics are probably my second or third hated franchise. And I think most people agree, but I can't do it. Watching them play the Celtics and watching Joel Embiid be afraid of Al Horford takes centuries off my life. I mean, it's so tough. What do you think your dream scenario for the Sixers are? I want to hear your standpoint. Let me hear it.
For the play-in,
Me too.
I want them to play the Bucks. Giannis is scary, but I feel like all the other teams
Yeah.
are more of a complete team rather than the Bucks. It's like they got Giannis, the other
Yeah.
guys feed him. That's what I think will happen. I'm hoping they just
That's
gotta
probably the
they just gotta
most
get it together.
probable too, because it'll be tough to make that 6 seed. We have to win out and everything. But I think regardless, we're gonna play the Heat in a play-in game, which, by the way, I've never been through a play-in tournament. That's gonna be stressful. Because it really is not. It's not a win or go home, but it's win or you play the Celtics. So that's horrifying. I would like us to get home court advantage though, because we would play Jimmy Butler, and Jimmy Butler in Miami is horrifying, right?
Well, I mean, I feel like Jimmy Butler against Philly, he's
He always
playing with
does,
a
and it's
vengeance.
nothing that we've done. It's really just because they picked Tobias Harris over him, which is and I'm
Mm-hmm.
not and I'm not gonna shit on Tobias too much because obviously we play better when he's not in, and yet he's being paid $150 million a year, and that's not good. It's robbery, and the
That's
fact that Kelly
robbery.
Oubre is playing so well, on a veteran minimum, right? While Tobias Harris is not playing well on a max contract is hilarious. And I like so I know Craig Kimbrell didn't end up doing well, Caleb, but do you remember last year, Craig Kimbrell, when everyone in the bullpen went down, he was a huge reason why we stayed afloat, right? That's kind of like Kelly Oubre,
Mm-hmm.
except Kelly Oubre is not going to choke in the playoffs. Kelly Oubre, if when Joel Embiid went down, I'm like, damn, Tobias Harris is going to step up, because I know what I'm going to get from Maxey, but then all of a sudden Kelly Oubre comes out of nowhere and averages 20 a game, and I'm like, whoa, we might be onto something here, you know? And I don't know, me as a fan, it's very, very encouraging, and he's such a likable guy. And yeah, and this Sixers team with Joel Embiid is just different. And I think that you can agree with me, because the way that they're going to start using Buddy Hield is very encouraging too in that 2-man game. And I know we've touched upon this, but I even saw it within the games that I've watched. If Maxey needs a break, then Buddy Hield will be the primary ball handler, and they'll just go back and forth between him and Embiid, and then get the shooters open, and then hopefully Campaign will hit one, or Tobias Harris hit one in the corner. It just opens everything up, and it's really fun to watch as a fan. Now I'm gonna say it again. If we play the Celtics, that might be one of the most stressful things I'm gonna ever have to do, because playing them in the first round, we've done it before, and it's not fun. Right? I mean, yeah.
Yeah, no.
Oh,
The game sevens.
how about the game 6 at home, when all we had to do is just win a game at home? How often have we said that within the Phillies and the Sixers? All we have to do is win at home. And the Eagles.
Dude, even the Eagles, yeah, it's just
No,
it's not Philly's thing.
I mean, could it be because the fans are stressed out, or because the players are stressed out, because there might be a little bit more pressure? Maybe, but that's what you sign up for when you come.
I mean, but you're playing for the fans, which is why it's it's stressful maybe the first couple of games, but you adjust to it during the regular season, and the playoffs come. You should be like, I'm going to play for these guys,
Exactly. And
you
Jared
shouldn't worry
Stubbs
about
said it
anything
best
else.
in the Phillies hype video for the playoffs last year. And if you don't like it, then get the F out. That's really what it comes down to, right? I mean, if you can't handle the pressure,
Mm-hmm.
it's okay. We might hate on you for about a month or two, but it'll go away. I wouldn't say I hate Ben Simmons anymore. But I don't hate Ben
Ah,
Simmons.
bull crap.
I mean, do I like him? No. Do I feel bad? Yes. I feel awful for the guy. I feel like there's something wrong up here, and I don't feel bad. How?
Yeah, he knows he's
See, this is
ass.
what I.
That's what's wrong.
But like Ben Simmons is a good example of someone that just couldn't handle the heat. You know, like some Philly players that do work out, right?
Or the
That like
Hawks.
Philly players that work out typically get shit on, like Alec Bohm, and then all of a sudden are like, okay, you have one of two things that you're gonna do, right? You're either going to acknowledge that you suck and then say how much, like explain how you're gonna get better and pretty much apologize, or you're not gonna say anything. You're gonna run away from the press conferences. Ben Simmons shutout and not get better and continue to do what you're pretty okay at, and that's pass the ball and play defense, right? You really, as a Philadelphia athlete, you have one of two things to do, and that's that, and there's not much you can do about it. And I'm sorry, but that's just the way it is, right? It's really just the way it is. Yeah, and I just really hope the Sixers don't freaking play the Celtics. That's all I want in my life. Do you have anything else for today? This is a very successful episode, 46 minutes.
No.
Solid to
Very
the point.
good episode.
Didn't curse much. That was perfect. That was perfect.
Yeah, no. Yeah, no.
Now, I will say this to the viewers. We have a very exciting episode next week. We're gonna do some draft stuff. We're gonna break down. So I think what we agreed to last time. We're gonna break down the Eagles stuff first. Say who we should target now that Hassan Reddick's gone, and whether we should get a corner, edge, tackle, whatever. We'll break it down. We'll probably just stay within the first two rounds, right? Or just like maybe mention the rest.
Yeah,
right?
yeah. First two, and then maybe
Right.
like some positions that.
Yeah, and then I think at
are
the
needed.
end it might be a longer episode, but I don't care. I think at the end we're just gonna kind of go through the top 20 picks and just say who we think that team's gonna get, and we're just gonna have fun with it. So definitely look out for that. That'll be posted around this time next week too, right? So Thursday, Friday. We'll make it work. But yeah, so we'll see you next week for the draft. Very excited for that. Thank you all so much for watching. Check us out on all the socials: Spotify, YouTube, Instagram, TikTok, Twitter, all of it. Hit us up. We've kind of been killing it with the TikToks recently. Thank you so much for everyone that both watches and likes TikTok. So thank you so much for that. So yeah, thank you everybody so much for watching, and we'll see you next week. Peace.
Peace.